said, hola, como esta? She said, konnichiwa. She said, pardon my French. I said, bonjour, madame. And then she says, say, and I say, no, lay. No matter where I go, you know I love them all. She said, hola, como esta? Said, konnichiwa. She said, pardon my French. I said, bonjour, madame. And she says, I say, and I say, no, lay. No matter where I go, you know I love them all. I'm feeling kinda young, I'm feeling reckless. Let me hold you, let me grab you by the necklace. I'll show you what the good loving is sex is. It turns you on when I got you feeling helpless. And I'ma eat you up for dinner, lunch and breakfast. Bring your friends along cause they are on the guest list. We can fool around I'm breathless. Hold off the drinks, out my body feeling selfless. She's telling me this, she's telling me that. You said you take me with you and you never go back. Now I got a lesson that I wanna teach. I'ma show you that where you from, it don't matter to me. She said, hola, 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 como esta? She's hola, 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 hola. You know I love them all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Loaded Mag NUFC. We hope you're all well on this fine, I say evening, it's not early evening, 6 o'clock. But we hope you're all well, because I know we are. That is for sure. Maybe a little bit tired, moving too many boxes today. I'm sure we'll get into that in just a second. But no, we are happy generally for football reasons. And it's always good to be happy for football reasons. But boys, how are we on this fine, pretty sunny for me, Sunday evening?
All good with me for football reasons. All good with me, boys. All good. But yeah, a bit of breaking news there. It's like we kind of timed the show around this, isn't it? Who knows? But all good. Looking forward to talking. Especially about our second incoming of the season and a few more topics. But Chris, how are you?
Good, mate. Yeah. So what Pete was alluding to there. Yeah, me 92-year-old grandmother is moving back to Liverpool, which is great. So she's gone to live with my auntie. So I was helping her move house this morning/afternoon. So yeah, it's been a grueling 7 hours, I think, in total, including the trip there and back. But yeah, she's back in Liverpool, safe and sound, which is fantastic. So yeah, it's been a productive afternoon for me. And and then we got some nice breaking news in the last hour. So that was, from a footballing perspective, that was very nice. And talking of football perspectives, obviously we have a very, very interesting game coming up, don't we, in Brazil-Norway, which I'm very much looking forward to watching. And then Daz's team in the syndicate, trying to get through to the
Mexico
rounds.
Hey.
I saw it. I spotted it, Pete. As soon as I arrived, I spotted it.
So now it's gonna be a good day today. I have a feel. I think it's gonna be a good one. Two really good football games, and let's hope. And Pete, I'm sure you'll be banging this drum. Let's hope there's not too many weather delays, because I'm a little bit nervous about the weather delays, because I've decided I'm going to stay up for the game, but I'm thinking, well, that's going to take us to at least 3 o'clock. But if they start raining it off, we might have a problem. Could be an all-nighter, but let's see. But Pete, how are you, mate?
When I'm getting up, it'll still be on, by the way.
Yeah, probably, or it's not kicked off. One of the two. But look, I'm good. I'm good. Even better for the news in the last hour. That's half an hour. Even more so. And look, the near 400 that are already in the chat 3 minutes in are probably as happy and excited as we are right now. But yeah, all good for me. I'm just deciding whether I get my pre-match nap or not. I'll be joining up with the boys later on in the deep early hours to watch this one.
You go in the pub?
We are, yeah. I'm on a strictly no alcohol situation, but yeah, it could be a mad one. That's for sure. But the only thing I'll be lacking is sleep going into tomorrow. That's for sure. But hopefully it will all be worth it. But look, people in the chat nice and early. We've got 400 plus now in the chat. Give our video a like. Thank you for coming and joining us and being a part of our channel today. Whilst you're there, people, do what I just did. I've just received, as of yesterday, my newest piece of OK jerseys attire.
Hey.
Another England kit here, ready to support the boys tonight. They're still available. They're still there. Go check them out. Some fantastic stuff at okjerseys.com. Trustpilot, 4.6 out of 5. Fantastic reviews and the quality to match. Get involved there. The loaded code, 8% off. Tops as cheap as £15. You know where to be. Right, boys, there's only one place that we need to go and start. And it is our first choice signing to go into the first 11. We finally got him. We've waited long enough. He is here. Bazoumana Touré is black and white, and it does look good on him. That is for sure. Bazoumana Touré has confirmed his move to Newcastle United. 42, 43 million, somewhere in between those regions. And he is now officially a Newcastle United player. I just want to get your thoughts on things, boys. How are you feeling about now the fact that we have a signing in the door? He is a first choice signing and he is black and white. That's on a Traore.
No, delighted that it's finally been announced. Look, we kind of more or less knew it was done maybe Friday. So I can't remember. We've been waiting for this since Thursday anyway. That it was going to be announced. Let's say, but yeah, we've got our Gordon replacement in now. Left wing should be sorted. We also have Barnes, of course, who can play there. It's interesting to see what does happen with Barnes now. And you imagine he will slot straight in as first choice. And yeah, interesting to hear what Eddie Howard said as well about a high ceiling and room to grow, and the eagerness of Baz Touré to join us. And I'm interested to learn more about him as we go on. Like I've watched a few more clips of him. He does look good. But yeah, I wanted to see what he can do in a black and white jersey. That's for sure. And and after that, just plenty more work to be done, and hopefully more this week.
Absolutely. Chris, you kind of just relieved that we finally got that first choice player. And when I say first choice, I don't mean in terms of first choice left wing. I mean he's going to be first choices in a starting 11 player, which is what we got. We obviously got Ewan Jawan. He's going to be very clearly second choice goalkeeper, but Bazoumana Touré is going to be first choice. That was my point. So are you relieved about that? Or are you a bit like Daz? You're already thinking ahead to the next deal? I want more.
Yeah, I think I am a little bit like that, like Daz, and the reason being, as Daz mentions, is the fact that it's been the worst kept secret, hasn't it? I think we saw the pictures of him at the stadium. We know that the deal's been mapped up. Obviously, due to what happened with Victor Munoz, there was still a little bit of trepidation in terms of someone going to come in at the 11th hour. You would hope not, and thankfully that hasn't happened. But yeah, I'm really excited. And you're right, Pete. First choice in terms of Bazoumana Touré is going to be in that starting 11. I have no doubt. I think he's going to come in. I think my only hesitation on Bazoumana Touré is that we've just got to make sure that we give the lad some time. He's only 20 years old. He's got bags and bags of potential. You can see that. I love the clips I've seen of him. That turn of pace, that electrifying pace, and I think it's going to be huge for Newcastle United. And interestingly, with it being a left-footed left winger, that's going to be interesting in terms of the way we play as well. Obviously 2-footed, but predominantly left-footed. So that is going to be interesting for us. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. But yeah, I'm already, and so people in the chat can see, I'm already thinking about signing number 3. But it's great he's through the door. It's great we've got it signed, sealed, and delivered. And really cannot wait to see Bazoumana Touré in a black and white shirt.
Absolutely. I'm delighted at this. I think he's a really sort of high potential player. As he said in his interview, if anyone's watched it, that he even said it himself, there was a number of clubs interested in him, but he only wanted Newcastle United. You hear that, Fab? He only wanted Newcastle United. And that's what you want to hear. But look, in terms of his playing style, you're right. He's You know, they've signed him with a similar mindset to Gordon in terms of his electric pace. He's really good at high pressing. He likes to go on and take on his man, and he's really direct, probably more direct than Anthony Gordon is, and that's what fills with excitement. The only kind of like thing I'm watching with a little bit of intrigue is the point that you make, Chris, is that he's a left-footed left winger, which you know, he isn't that invert. He can play on the right. If anyone's seen any clips of him play, you have seen him do really good work half an arm on the right hand side as well as the left. So he has got that ability to play on both sides, but he is predominantly a left-sided attacking winger. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he can bring in this team, and I do feel that him coming in kind of sparks a change in terms of maybe mentality, in terms of approach that Newcastle are going to play next season. So it'll be really intriguing to see how that all pans out. But delighted that he's got in. Now people will say, oh, you know, Victor Munoz was first choice, etc., etc. I don't personally see it that way. I see it as very much like the reason why I think, in my opinion, we went for Victor Munoz first is because of his price point. His price point was what, 7 or 8 million cheaper than Bazoumana Touré, and that's the reason why I think we went for Munoz first. But Touré is a player that is more than capable of being that guy, and I think that's why we moved and pivoted so quickly towards him to wrap up this deal very, very quickly, because I think the skill sets are very similar with Touré and Munoz. So I don't see it as, oh, he was second choice, third choice. I'm getting the feeling, and we maybe discuss this later on in the show, that I'm getting the feeling that the pool of players in each position that we're choosing are very much of the same caliber. There isn't a 1, 2, 3. It's very much of, is the price point right? Is there a deal there to be done, etc., etc.? Can we get it done? Can we wrap it up? And I think it'll be very much like that for other positions moving forward. But really excited to see that. I just want to put on the screen really quickly to run through just whilst we are here, if it allows me to do it. Hopefully you can see that on the screen.
Yes.
Just some thoughts from Newcastle United's perspective. Well, Bazoumana Touré says, I'm very, very happy to be here. You hear that, Fab? Very, very happy to be here. Mm-hmm. It was his dream to play in the Premier League. He actually touches on later on in the show, in the video, with regards to Czech Tiote, which I thought was a really nice touch in there. Can't wait to play for Newcastle and meet his teammates. Eddie Howe said, really pleased to be able to bring him to Newcastle United. He's shown his ability in Europe and in Germany, and has gained really good experience with the national team in the World Cup. He's a player with a really high ceiling, is what Eddie Howe says. And I really like this point from our sporting director, and obviously it is his summer, so we've got to say what he had to say on this. Ross Wilson says, we're delighted to welcome Bazoumana to Newcastle United. At just 20 years old, he's already a hugely excited young talent who has progressed year on year. We're sure there's plenty more growth still to come, development, and we're excited to nurture here at Newcastle United. We've been working to get this transfer arranged in recent weeks, whilst Bazoumana has been at the World Cup. And this bit here I think is a really nice touch, lads. Finally, I'd like to thank Hoffenheim for their professionalism in all of their discussions and for the care they've shown him. I know they share our excitement in Bazoumana's quality and potential. And I just thought that was a really nice touch there, lads, with regards to the sporting director. A little sort of nod there to the club and also to the player himself. So there anything to add on that, boys, from what the manager and player has said?
Maybe a little nod to Sasuna as well. The professionalism that we've seen from Hoffenheim in comparison. But yeah, nice one, Ross Wilson. Of course, one thing to add, Pete, since you're sharing screen, I might as well share a screen as well. One thing to add: whose summer is it, Pete?
It's a Ross Wilson summer.
It is a Ross Wilson summer, and of course we have a Ross Wilson t-shirt. If anyone is interested in a variety of colours, there he is there, Ross Wilson himself. It's a Ross Wilson summer. So yeah, go check that out on our you'll find it in the description in the under the show into our merch store. But just to get that out there as well. People have asked for it.
I will be ordering my Ross Wilson summer and the real 6 Foot Club t-shirt after this show. I'll be ordering back. Don't worry about that.
The real one is up there, Pete. Yes.
The second one made. Hopefully not the third one. Right. We can continue discussing this later on down the line. So Touré is in the house, lads. Just to add to that, there was people were a little bit concerned this morning when we put the tweet out for the show. Some people saying that Touré is it happening? Is it not? It came from the Tottenham side. They were saying from their sources that Newcastle had asked Spurs to wait. Maybe it was sort of documents related, etc., before that will be announced. Spurs will announce their player, I imagine, in due course. Not that I'm interested in that. But what I am interested in, boys, is what came out from the iPaper. What was reported in iNews is that Newcastle plan to reinvest the full 100 million from the sale of Tonali on multiple signings, and that was the key bit that really excited me, lads. What are your thoughts about that? Was it a concern for you at all that we may not invest it all? But it seems very much that the club are adamant to do so. So, just general thoughts on that.
No, we have to invest it all. There's no point in selling Tonali if we're not going to invest it all. And Touré is our first through the door. And I'm sure we're going to get on about who we might or would like to see coming in next to strengthen up our squad heading into the season. But we have to. And look, the sale of Tonali unlocks us now to go and spend and not be looking over our shoulder a bit as well in doing that. Now we do have more sales to go and more wiggle room will follow. But it's a start. Get us going. But Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, do you know what? I picked up on this as well, what David Cook said. Interesting quote from Eddie saying he brings something different. And it kind of leads into what we said earlier about, left-footed left winger. Some people in the chat are saying maybe they're going to play him on the right. But then obviously, and I suppose that does get me interested because if he has been brought to play on the right, we believe he's an Anthony Gordon replacement, but if he has been brought on the right, then obviously we then have 3 right wingers and then 1 left winger. So it does give me a little bit of hope that we might be looking at another winger as well. I hope we are personally, but we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But yeah, I'm excited. I am excited about this signing, and I just hope that we continue in the same vein. Pete mentioned about what Ross Wilson giving Hoffenheim plaudits, for the way they conducted the business. And I think, David Tofield said here as well, professional recruitment again, welcome back. And yeah, absolutely. That's certainly how this deal feels. But yeah, we've still got a good few deals still to do. But no, good news that we've brought in Bazoumana, Touré, and it's only the 5th of July. So hopefully we can have a couple more in the coming weeks.
Absolutely, that's for sure. And I get the feeling, or I hope, that Newcastle are starting to build a fluid front three. Look, the dream would be to emulate a style that PSG play, where they've got a fluid front three that can play in all 3 positions quite comfortably.
I do.
Now, that's the dream and that's the aim to get there. But you can still play that way with players that are comfortable playing that way on a sort of lesser scale. And with the fact that Touré can play right wing, left wing predominantly, you're looking at a Sula that could, if push comes to shove, do the same. And if we were to go and get another winger that could also play in both wing positions, you've got a lot of fluidity there. And that could really help, particularly in game changing and tactical changes. So I really hope that that's something that we're looking to build. Whether that's the case, who knows? But what we have got is someone that's technically good, someone that's lightning quick, and someone that's really productive. I think I saw on X he had the highest successful dribbles in the top 5 leagues last season. And for a 20-year-old to achieve that so young, it is exciting for me. It's exciting. We've got a lot to work with there already, and there's clearly aims to get better. A few things, boys, just to run through a little bit of just a few minutes of bits of news that we can just get out there. There was just some updates on the Bruno Guimaraes situation. As things stands, Lee Ryder says, I've been told the stance with Bruno Guimaraes is the same. No intentions of selling him. Liam Kennedy reported that, for the second time it's been confirmed there is no release clause, and that is how it is. There's been nothing really of much talk with regards to that, but that's just a little update there. I didn't know if you wanted to go into any detail for that, but I just wanted to bring that up just that's as it is right now.
With Bruno, I still. Are we asking the question again?
No, that's why I didn't say it. At this point, I don't think we really need to. I think we know where we stand on it, but it was just almost kind of an update of where we're at on that situation.
I don't think that there's been much movement on it, and I'm sure Bruno himself is concentrating on the game coming up in less than 3 hours against Freuden's Norway, beloved Norway. I think it'll probably rumble on until the World Cup finishes, or until Brazil are knocked out or win it. We might start to get more clarity then of where Bruno's head is at.
Definitely. And Chris, speaking of Norway and speaking of potential other wingers, this man we talked about last time, Antonio Nusa. There was a report, and I don't think I put this up on the screen, but it got mixed up in my system. But Philip Heinz, who last summer was brilliant with his German news reporting, particularly covering the Seco deal and various others, he has said here that Antonio Nusa is an important player, but he's not considered untouchable this summer. So there is room for him potentially to move on. They have set the asking price, though, Leipzig, of around 60 million euros. But what was really interesting about this is that Leipzig need to make a major sale for financial reasons. So there is a thought there. Now, thinking of you and Daz moving ahead to the next signing, just putting it out there, I'm just keeping his name in our conversation. Just so, because I do believe, and I want to get your thoughts on this, I do believe we need to get another winger. I do believe another winger needs to come in. So, is he worth the 60 million would you pay that sort of money to bring him in from what you've seen of him?
Yeah, I think so. I think you do pay a premium for your wingers, particularly wingers who are impressing in the World Cup as well. Obviously, Nusa's had a pretty decent World Cup, I think it's fair to say. But I'll be honest, boys. I'm excited. I will be excited, very, very excited if we bring in another winger. And the reason I'll be excited is because, for me, it shows that we're going to have to get rid of another of our existing wingers. And that would mean to me that we're going to be trying to move on Jacob Murphy. And I think that's the right thing to do. If you tell me we start next season with Harvey Barnes and Bazoumana Touré on the left, and then Anthony Elanga and a new right winger on the right, I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. I do think we do need another winger, and Nusa is interesting. What is interesting about that article, Pete, I didn't know that they had to sell. And I noticed at the very bottom it was talking about Diamande as well. Now, if Newcastle were to come in and test the resolve, if Leipzig were particularly keen to hold on to Diamande, that could be interesting because they probably won't want to sell both. And I reckon there's probably more likelihood of them keeping Nusa, but they probably would rather keep Diamande. Now, if they were to sell Nusa, that would then mean that they could turn around and go, no, we don't want to get rid of Diamande. We don't need to. And it might even increase his price so that it goes silly money. So it could be that Leipzig are trying to get someone to come in for Nusa, because then obviously if clubs are then coming in for Diamande, they could just turn around and go, we've just got 60 million there for Nusa, so we don't need to sell. And that could end up raising Diamande's price even higher. So Leipzig could well be willing sellers. I think it's a possibility. Would I like to see it? Absolutely, I would like to see it. I suppose my only nervousness around it is the fact that we've got. I was talking to one of the lads in work about this, funnily enough, who's also a Newcastle fan. My only nervousness around it is obviously we've got a few wingers on the fringes at Newcastle, who may be trying to push into the first team next season, such as Sung Soo, Cordero. Who was the other one who I mentioned? Cordero, Sung Soo. There was another winger who's got quite
Sanusi. Sanusi's probably a bit further down.
Sanusi's one of them. Do you know what? It wasn't Sanusi who I mentioned. There was somebody else. Was it Alabi? Maybe Sam Alabi? Because he's been training with the first team quite a lot.
Is his name
Sam Alabi? Is he more central? Yeah. Well, anyway.
There's a few, though. There's a few that are knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Kyle Fitzgerald, a bit young as well. But
maybe.
I know why you mentioned him.
We all know why you mentioned him. Yeah, I mean, I would love, honestly, I would love another first team ready. Because I think it would be fair to say, maybe those lads who I've just mentioned possibly aren't first team ready at this point. But I would love another first team ready winger, absolutely. But yeah, I still think we'd probably need at least one out the door. Maybe even a striker, who knows? Because if you're talking about playing that fluid free, you could argue that you could get rid of a striker and buy somebody who can play on the wing but also play through the middle, and then you're getting 2 for 1, aren't you? So. But yeah, Noosa, he has to be. You have to be interested in him, and yeah, I think it would. I would be very, very excited if we signed him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Daz, you do. I want to get your thoughts on. Do you genuinely think another winger will leave the club? Obviously, Gordon's gone. Do you think a right winger will leave the club? In your opinion, as it stands right now?
Maybe a Murphy, but I really don't think, and I'm going to burst your bubble, Pete, and I'll burst my own bubble as well here. But I don't think we're getting Noosa now. I think now that we've got our left winger in, I'm putting Baz Touré, because I know people are going mad in the chat about the pronunciation of Touré, I think that's it nailed down now on the left wing. So that will rule out Noosa. It'll rule out my boy as well, Matthias Fernandez Pardew, even though he could play up front, but I probably will rule us out of it. And it obviously rules out as Abde as well. And we know about Munoz already. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did look, because like a young, we're all going to be targeting young players all around with high ceilings. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do look for another right winger, because that we were looking in that market, and we went for the lad that was the Swedish lad who ended up at Brighton. And we're looking at him. But
Rooney Barshi?
Yeah.
Rooney Barshi?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on loan, actually. He's not going to look in at Barca, and he's got more competition now in Barca. But if we were... and if we were to release a striker, I would like us to see us go first. I know I'm gone off the wingers onto a striker, but I want to see us bring in an out-and-out striker. And I think to do that, we have to sell one of the existing we have. And I don't think we're selling Lasula. So
we'll come back. We'll hold fire on the strikers. We'll come back. We'll circle back to that in just a second. But I'm with you with the Johanna talk, because the fact that we were actively going for Johanna at the same time as Munoz tells me that they wanted both. They wanted a winger on each side. So that fills me with confidence that I think our winger search isn't over yet. And I think it will depend on interest on the right. Yeah, I think it will depend on interest, but I think there may well be enough interest in one of our right wingers in which we can then go and secure a right winger as well. I don't think that search is over for me personally. Whether it's Noosa or not, I'm not sure. But I do think we'll be looking for one, definitely. But let's wait and see on that. A few of the ones, these are just kind of just to keep in our mind, just in case something breaks. There was reports here about Joachim Oso, a young, talented fullback that was interested in Newcastle from Sevilla. He's a player that apparently is said that he's interested in coming to Newcastle. So one to keep an eye on there. But on top of that, another right back who we talked about in our last show, lads, Oscar Mengueza. He's now an Italian journalist reporting it, Di Natale, and the reason why he's reporting it is because Juventus have been interested in Mingueza. But what they're saying is that a Premier League club is in the lead for him ahead of Juventus. Now, we know that Newcastle United have been linked with Mingueza quite a lot. So it's just one just to keep an eye on, because it could be Newcastle, it could be somebody else, but we know how much we've been linked with him over the weeks and the last couple of months. Just something to keep an eye on there. Obviously, the other deals are prioritising our thoughts, but this one might well sneak up on us. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, look, because like previous show, I said, we're not going to sign anyone over the age of 23, 24, but with a free transfer, and a bit of experience as well. It's a no-brainer, and it's a position that we desperately need. Right backs, we've got Tino Livramento, who we don't know should be back for pre-season or midway through pre-season, but we need backups there, because we know Tino won't last a season going injury free.
Yeah, definitely. Chris, I'm going to come to you with this one, and it's involving this man here, Nick Pope.
Oh God!
There was. I don't know whether people might have saw this. I think Magpie Media caught onto this, but not many people didn't. And it was the end of Scott Wilson's report. He put this little snippet at the end, and I read it, and I was like, "Has people noticed that he actually said this?" And it was this. He said the Ipswich Town are set to make a formal offer for Nick Pope, which could lead to the goalkeeper who finished last season in Newcastle starting side, Nick Pope, of course, heading to Portman Road. And I just thought that was really interesting, because he almost kind of put in a passing comment. I was like, hold on, Scott, you've been on the channel before. That's not a passing comment there. That's a big point for Newcastle United fans. And just to add on to this, Chris, before I let you come in, it was also reported today by the Chronicle, Brighton have been told to cash in on Bart Verbruggen as Newcastle monitor the goalkeeper. So a link from back in February that's kind of resurfaced again. I know we've not got him in our sort of top 3 list, but what are your thoughts both on Pope, but also the Verbruggen link kind of resurfacing again?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so on Nick Pope, and I've got to add, Pete. I thought you were going to add in. I think I said it in the chat. I don't know. I read somewhere. I can't remember for the life of me. If anyone can tell me in the chat, please do let me know.
Don't say it, Chris.
Pete, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
What's going on here?
Because I thought Pete's going to be proud here. Because an article I read, it was like Newcastle hoped to secure between 10 and 12 million for Nick Pope, and I was like, "So Ross Wilson summer." I thought that, you see, that to me, that would be a good price. I'd be happy with that. Whether or not we're going to be able to, I don't know. But yeah, my ears pricked when I read that. I was like, ooh, because originally they were talking 5 million, and I was like, ooh, I still feel like it should be a bit more than 5 million. He's still a Premier League experienced goalkeeper, whichever way you look at it. Champions League experienced goalkeeper, albeit you might want to edit some of the videos. But yeah, I think, listen. Us boys have spoken. We've probably been speaking about this for 2 years, or the best part of 2 years. Nick Pope needs to move on this summer, as well as a number of other players. But for me, at the very top of that list is Nick Pope. And when Nick Pope does move on, obviously we'll thank him for his time and everything like that. But it will mean that we're going to bring in a new number one, and that for me is a necessity. And for you boys, I know you both said it as well. It's a necessity this summer. We need to start next season with a brand new keeper between the sticks. We absolutely do. I will be very, very, very disappointed if we don't. Very disappointed. So yeah, I'm hoping we bring in a new number one as soon as possible. And obviously, it's been made very, very clear that Ewan Jawan is going to be the new number 2. He's not going to be the new starter. That's not to say he can't be the number 1 in time to come, but he certainly won't be starting as the number 1. So we need to go out and get a number 1. In terms of Bart Verbruggen, I mean, again, Premier League experienced. He's probably only going to improve. He's only going to get better. I didn't realise how young he was when we last spoke about him. I think he's early 20s, isn't he? He's not that old. Yeah, 23. So lots of room to improve. But people talking about 50 million and even 40 million. I'm a bit like,
is he worth that?
That's what I mean.
Is he worth that?
I'm not convinced. If you're telling me we're going to spend 40 million on a goalkeeper, I'm saying go and get James Trafford. If you're going to spend 40 million on a goalkeeper, go and get James Trafford. If you want to spend less than 40 million on a goalkeeper, I'm saying go and get Robin Reese. I'm saying maybe try and sneak one in with PSG and ask for Chevalier. Something like that, thinking outside the box. I certainly don't want to be paying 45, 50 million on Dartford Ruggan. I just don't. I really don't. The last couple of times that we've seen him, funnily enough, after we've spoken about him, I've been a bit like, I'm not convinced by him. Is he an upgrade on Pope? Yes, I think he is. But is he that much of an upgrade for that price? I've got reservations, I'll be honest.
Daz, jump in on this conversation before we get onto the bigger conversation that people want us to talk about. But it's an interesting situation with the goalkeepers. I'm not sure I'd be comfortable as paying 40 to 50 million for Bartford Bruggen. I think he's an okay goalkeeper. I don't think he's worth 50 million personally. I spoke to Maz on WhatsApp when we were initially linked with him, and he said if they got 50 million for him, they would snap whoever's hand off that was willing to pay that, because he doesn't rate him as a 50 million pound goalkeeper. That's put me off massively. But
I think he said it was on the way days, didn't he, Pete? I think he said it was on the way days.
Yeah, absolutely, he did. And I know you're on the Trafford train, Daz.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm driving that train. I've been driving it the last couple of summers. But I like Bartford Ruggan. I think he's a good keeper. And I'd be happy if he did rock up at Newcastle. But the 50 million price tag, no, it's not worth it. When you're comparing that James Trafford is there for the taking, in my opinion. And you're going to have to pay probably 40 million to get him. But pay it, and he has shown the desire that he wants to come on a number of occasions already. He was taken out of his hands, not coming to Newcastle last time. So I just want to see him rock up at Newcastle and kind of put that saga to bed. And we by bringing in a new keeper, it's going to save us points this season. We like whatever happens, we need a new keeper, and that is going to happen. But I want to go back to Chris's point. I can't let it go, Chris. I did see in the chat. Oh, Jesus Christ. No way in hell we're getting 10 to 12 million for Nick Pope. If we get 10 to 12 million for Nick Pope, I'm in Newcastle in about 5 to 6 weeks time. I expect to see everyone in Newcastle wearing it's a Ross Wilson summer t-shirt, because that would be some achievement from Ross Wilson if you got 12 million for Nick Pope. A keeper we bought a number of years ago for 10 million, and look, and like we've seen good points and bad points from him, and but I think 5 million is decent business, and I know he can do a job, and he'd be kept busy in Ipswich, that's for sure. But that is a fair enough deal for me. Anton above that is a miracle work for me. But the keepers.
Miracles do happen. 80 million plus for Gordon with the sign-on clause.
Yeah.
100 million for Sandro Tonali. 12 million.
12 million for Pope is like that. That's another level.
That eclipses them both.
Well, I'm just saying, Ross Wilson is the magic man. Anything's possible, and if he can get effectively our money back, because we'll be getting pretty much that in profit. I imagine we've paid off the money for Nick Pope for the years that he's been at Newcastle in terms of what we owed Burnley, because I think it was a 12 million fee anyway for him that I imagine we've paid off by now with the couple he's had. I would imagine, that would be pure profit that we would get for whatever we got for Nick Pope. And it would absolutely 100% be a Ross Wilson summer if he was able to secure that deal. But let's wait and see. On that one for sure. But it's just an interesting conversation. Now, we are going to come to the man Zambi that you might want to discuss in just a second, but maybe a good time to go to our sponsor.
Yes, let's play a bit from our sponsor. Right, everyone, before we get into today's show, a quick word from our sponsor. We know what you're thinking. Here we go, the sponsor a bit, but here's out. This may be more relevant than you think. Look, Newcastle fans, lads and lasses, we're all guilty of it, aren't we? Whether you're in the stands, watching from home, or staying up late overseas to follow every match, busy weeks, match days, football all weekend, fast food on the go, planning life around Newcastle kickoff times, saying, right, I'll sort myself out next week. Then next week becomes next month. We've all done it. That's why we've teamed up with Oxford Natural. and their Optimum day and night supplements.
Look, we'll be honest with you. There's no gimmicks, no magic fix. You still have to put in the work. But when those positive changes start to show, people will start to notice. So, Optimum Day, designed around energy, cravings, and help keep people on track. Optimum Night, more around sleep, recovery, and helping to switch off properly. Yeah, and to be fair, we've all had some incredible stories. Robbie from AFTV and DR Sports lost over 80 pounds on his journey. Football fans have seen the commitment he's put in to improving his health. Michael Owen, former England Stoke striker and Ballon d'Or winner, he lost over around 35 pounds. Anita, a lawyer, lost 44 pounds after having a second child and wanting to feel healthier and more like herself again. And Linda, a legal executive, lost over 50 pounds after hitting 40 and decided to make health more of a priority in her life. So, go to the link to see their full stories, and there are plenty more stories coming through too.
So if lately you've been sat there thinking, right, I need to kick myself into gear and sort myself out a bit, this could be worth having a look at. You can find the QR code on screen and the link in the show description. Use the code LOADED and this gets you 70% off your first order. Right then, enough from us, boys. Let's get talking Newcastle United. How are the lads?
How are the lads?
Lads.
I just want to say something, quick something here. That I'm actually finding the Oxford Natural Supplements good. I'll go into more details again later time, but I'm finding them good. But also, just a quick, our thoughts and prayers go to one Jordan Cronin, who from the Geordie Journals, who has the lads are also sponsored by Oxford Natural. But Jordan, he took the night supplements in the morning, so he screwed himself over altogether. He was falling asleep during the day. I know, but I thought that was funny. I was watching the Geordie Journals video earlier, so nice one, Jordan.
If there was ever one of the three that was going to do that,
That's your best. Yeah.
It's Jordan all day long. It's all day long, absolutely. But I'm sure he is absolutely fine. But boys, we'll get to the topic that's piqued Newcastle United's interest, and it is the potential interest and potential signing of this man, Johan Manzambi of Freiburg, and currently with Switzerland in the World Cup. Now, the big question is this, lads: can we turn that Freiburg shirt into a Newcastle one? Can we make that happen? Now, as it stands, there has been lots of reports in Germany, football Skalainen, if I'm pronouncing that right. Obviously, it's in German, so apologies. But basically, what they're saying is Newcastle's interest is strong, and they are preparing a bid. Get the booze ready, people in the chat. For Richard Romano did report on it himself that Newcastle are preparing an official bid for the Switzerland international. Initial contacts made over the last few days with Freiburg, scored 3 goals, obviously assisted 2 in there at this moment in time. As well as that, Scott Wilson mentioned this in his piece today, which is an interesting point, because there was lots of talk of Manchester United, other teams maybe being interested in Manzambi, but from what Scott Wilson said, he's not, Newcastle are not aware of any concrete competition at this moment in time for Manzambi, and they feel they've done everything possible to prepare the groundwork for a move with Freiburg and the representatives of them. And Lee Ryder talks about Manzambi being a player, not just for the World Cup. People think, oh, you're buying him off a good World Cup. Well, no. Apparently, he's been scouted for a long time by Newcastle United in his Savetti days, youth days. So they've been on his case, Manzambi, for a long while. So just giving that little bit of extended history there. But there's a lot of Newcastle fans that have been burnt by the Munoz situation, that are very much an element of anxiety is kicked in with the fact that the deal hasn't already gone in, and that we haven't already wrapped this deal up. Where are you boys sitting with this Manzambi situation? Are you Are you calm and kind of reserved on the situation? Are you worried about the Manzambi deal potentially getting hijacked by somebody else? Or are you thinking this deal is going to go through? Newcastle seem to be right at the front of the queue for him. Where within that kind of time continuum are you with regards to Manzambi, Daz?
I'm definitely worried, Pete, because I like him too much. I'm already dreaming of him in the Newcastle kit, and because he's just he can unlock things, he can make things happen. He's something that we don't have, and something we've been missing for a long time. And if we were to think about back to earlier in the season, middle of the season, I remember putting out a little video with the Maverick. I think he falls into that category because he would get bums off seats. Let's say and we can't be the only ones that are noticing this as well. He's on the world stage, doing it at the World Cup as well. So and I do know Man United do like to sign a player from that impresses at the World Cup. They have done in the past. So yeah, I'm a bit worried there. I would just love to hear, bang, this one's done, and not have it dragged on that a bid's gone in and they were waiting for someone to gazump us and to hijack us. But that's not what we want. We don't want to be going through that again. But yeah, if we get him over the line, I think we are going to then moving in the right direction, and then we have something to really look forward to and something exciting into next season.
Interesting. I do agree with regards to the Maverick stance for sure. He definitely offers that, and I do hear your thoughts on being a little bit worried about the situation. Just before I come to you, Chris, I've just got a question from a member of the chat, live chat, and people in the chat, feel free to give your responses on this. Is Ash and Marlon from Spurs Kings TV allowed to be here? Are they allowed to be here, people?
Always. And thank you for the 100
more
million.
than welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 100 million.
I think me and Daz both echo Chris's thoughts there. Thank you for the 100 million. And yes, we allow you to stay, Ash, Marlon, whichever it is, but both great people. And make sure you go and check out their channel as well. Chris, Manzambi, Daz is a little bit worried, sees him as a Maverick, can already kind of vision him with the Newcastle United kit on. I'll bring that vision to life. Will we see that for real, Chris, in your opinion? Yes, very much so.
I love that celebration.
In black and white.
Yeah.
Are we going to see it?
Yeah, I hope so. You know what? This I get why everyone's a little bit anxious over it, because it does appear to follow a similar trends to. I'm not gonna list them all. You know, you Ekateke's, your Sesco's, etc., etc. So it does follow that trend in that, you know, Newcastle seemingly moving in the shadows, and then all of a sudden it gets announced and it's all over social media, and Newcastle are preparing a move, Newcastle are thinking about doing a move, Newcastle are really, really close to making a move. And then you wonder, well, Newcastle probably haven't leaked it, because I think that would be very naive. You then wonder whether Freiburg have leaked it, whether his agents leaked it, who knows? But I don't know. I have a feeling. Boys, that maybe this won't pan out the way that previous ones have. I mean, the good news is, and again, tell me if you think I'm wrong here, but I'm sure one of the journalists who was talking about this deal did actually say that Manzambi was keen on the Newcastle links, and I'm sure when we get to another player shortly, that seemingly is why we're no longer linked with them, because apparently they want Champions League football. But Manzambi seems open to joining Newcastle United from what we're hearing. Obviously, we don't know that as fact. So I'm still encouraged. I'm not going to pin every last hope I've got on it and then be disappointed. But I would certainly think that we're in the mix for them, and I would certainly think that I wouldn't rule it out. Do you know what I was thinking, Pete, when you had that article up, that Servette, his old club? Who was the young right back who Rafa ended up letting go with the dreads?
Oh, yeah.
His previous club was Servette. Can't think who it was. He ended up at Wolfsburg.
And with the talk was bringing him back at one point after that again.
Kevin Mbabu.
Yeah, Mbabu. Yeah, he started his career at Servette. So when I saw Servette, I thought, reminds me. There you go. See, Genie's on it. Yeah. When I saw Servette, I thought, Kevin Mbabu used to play for Servette. But yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. There is a lot of noise. Yes, that doesn't guarantee that we're going to get him. And I think as Newcastle United fans, we need to be prepared for the worst. That's probably the best way to frame it now. Just be prepared for the worst, and anything else is a bonus. So it might be that we don't end up getting this lad over the line. And unfortunately for us, he's having a fantastic World Cup, which is only going to be grabbing attention of other clubs. But maybe, Newcastle can sell him this dream. And maybe, if we were to secure him, how exciting would that be? Because he looks like he's got all the potential in the world. Very, very young lad, very progressive, carries the ball forward, has clearly got a decent shot on him. And he looks like he's all action. And I think in an Eddie Howe team, you need players who are all action, box to box. He very much looks like somebody who is going to put a shift in for you. And I think in this Eddie Howe team, that's exactly what we need. So yeah, I'm still hopeful. I think I've said that word many a time. I'm hopeful that we can, get this deal over the line. And maybe once we see Switzerland exit the World Cup, no offense to all the Swiss fans out there, maybe once we see Switzerland exit the World Cup, this deal could grow legs, because that's what we're hearing about James Trafford as well. Apparently, James Trafford wants to focus on the World Cup, and maybe that's what Manzambi wants to do as well.
Yeah.
Pete, can I
go on, Das. Go
I want to get your opinion on Manzambi as well, but I want to add another bit into it. Is where, assuming we were to play a 4-3-3, even though we might go to a 4-2-3-1 to accommodate Nick. You never know. But where would you play Manzambi in either formation?
Interesting, because I was going to talk about that. Was a point that I was going to mention. So I'm going to glad you asked that question. Look, for me, I personally, people might not agree, I personally see Manzambi as a Joe Linton replacement. I personally see him as someone that can play on the left of a midfield three. He can also operate in a 10, and he has done that on numerous occasions for Freiburg. But I see him, if he's going to play in the midfield three, for me, I see him playing on the left hand side. You only have to see the assist he got the other day, where he was driving almost in the mid. It was almost in the space between the left midfielder and the left winger. He's almost driving into that middle space with the ball on the counter attack, which creates the opening to get his assist on the end. And that's where I see him producing his best football in an Eddie Howe team. And I think he's absolutely got the skill set to do that, because, he can get up and down, like you said, Daz. He's box to box. He's got that work rate and good ethic that you talked about, Chris, before as well. But I think the technical ability that he has is the difference between him and Joe Linton. And I think, how many times have we said it about Joe Linton? Physically, he's brilliant, big, strong, physical, puts himself about. He's perfect for some games in the Premier League. But there are some games where you need that little bit of technical quality that makes a difference. And I think Manzambi could be that long term for Newcastle United in that position. That's where I see him potentially playing. I like that word, Chris, hopeful, because I believe genuinely that we've got a really good chance of getting him. And I think, the fact that I read, I can't remember who wrote it, but someone had said that basically Newcastle have told him, you're not just coming here to fight for your place. He's been told he's playing and he's going to be a main starter. And I think that's massive. That is massive for a young 20-year-old midfielder to go onto the big stage in the Premier League, but not just be told, right, you got to fight for your place, work for your place in the team. Nah, you're starting. You're going to be the guy for us, and you're going to help us go to where we need to get. And that's encouraging. That if I'm a 20-year-old player being told that I'm moving to a much bigger club in Newcastle, fighting for European Champions League in the best league in the world, but you're going to be one of the main guys doing it, like that would be enticing for sure, with the caveat, and I'm not naive to think that, with the caveat that if you're producing your best football for 2 or 3 years, there may well be that next step for you. If we're not there yet, that will be your next step, and I'm not naive to think that that's not the case. But that's also a selling point there. And there's a part of me that thinks we can't make this same mistake twice in the same window with Victor Munoz. Surely that being burnt with Victor Munoz has made us more cautious, but also more staunch in our approach to go, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to do it, and this is how we need to get this deal done. And we did it with Touré. We got that deal done very, very quickly. And it seems like we want to get this deal done quickly, but it almost feels like, and I can't remember who said it. Someone had wrote it. It might have been Mark Douglas or it might have been Craig Hope that said that he wants to wait until the World Cup's finished. He's actually come out and said that. So it's not a case of, because there's loads of social media, and to be fair, I did it yesterday. I was like, get that bid in, get the bid in, get them in. Get done. Of course, we all want that. But there's a reality that when I saw that article later on, I was a bit like, okay, that makes sense. That his mind is fully focused on Switzerland. They're having a great tournament on the verge of getting to the quarterfinals. And it's a case of he wants his mind in that because he's going to be playing in that. And he's got to be fully at it if they want to get to that next phase. That his mind is fully focused there. And then almost when that's done, I've got to be honest, if I'm Newcastle, I'm getting delegations at that game. And I'm ushering him from the training ground into a car, onto a flight. They go straight to Newcastle. We go, right, okay, like what we did with Bazoumana and Touré, and we're getting him in, and we're getting that deal done, and we're getting it signed ASAP. That's what I would be doing if I was Newcastle. I'm kind of at the mindset that's the case right now. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see on that one. But there was an update from a certain someone, whether you like him or not. And now I don't know if we'll get burnt on this one, but I'll drop it on there anyway. And it's from an update here. I'll just play it 1 second.
Videos. Talking about players who are at the World Cup, we also have to mention Manzambi, this very talented player from Switzerland. 5 goal contributions, scoring, providing assists, one of the most interesting talents appearing on scene from the 2026 World Cup. For Manzambi, what I can tell you is that Newcastle are preparing their first official bid. They already had some contacts on player side over the recent weeks. Newcastle were already scouting the player, then the exploits having at the World Cup is obviously contributing to accelerate the process. Freiburg are going to ask for important money, so it's not going to be a cheap deal. But Newcastle love to get players from Germany, and in a surprising way. They did that with Foltemade, closed in 24 hours. They did that with Bazoumana Touré, closed in 24 hours. And now they are trying the same also with Manzambi from Freiburg. So the Switzerland talent is a top target for Newcastle. Again, we have to see, because Freiburg want to wait a little bit. Why the deal was not closed this fast? Because Freiburg want to wait to ask more money, game after game, and also because they feel that maybe other clubs could join the race if the player keeps performing well. But Newcastle are ready to push. Then, talking about...
Okay, so that's a little bit of an update from Fabrizio Romano, however you see him. I just thought there's a couple of things out of that I thought were quite interesting, lads. One of the things that it seems like Freiburg are maybe holding off rather than the player in terms of watching it. And it was interesting, he said game to game, because every game he seems to be playing better, which means maybe an extra couple of million. We did it before. Remember when Asula scored his goals, we were going, right, extra 2 million there, extra 3 million there. We were adding value. Naturally, Freiburg are going to want to try and maximize everything they're going to get for him. And they're hoping that he has another great performance on Tuesday when they play next. So that was quite interesting. But it was interesting that he also mentioned, lads, and this will hopefully calm a little bit of fears, maybe not. For Newcastle fans that are watching, we've got nearly 2,000 people watching the channel right now. What was interesting about that is that he said, with regards to Freiburg, that they're waiting to see if anyone else is interested. That got me thinking that maybe no one else is at the table. And maybe that's what is kind of the situation right now. Newcastle want this deal, they want to get it done. There may be just, it's almost like a last throw of the dice. Is anyone else out there? Let's see if anyone else. It's like going once, going twice. It's very much like that to see if there's anyone else out there, because they've got a deal in place for Newcastle, but they're just trying to see last minute if there is any interest. And Scott Wilson talked about it in his piece today, and it almost I get the feeling from how people are writing, the journalists in this situation, and obviously what Fabrizio Romano said, it gives me the feeling that there isn't anyone else at the table, but they're almost kind of putting their last call out before they go, right, you can have him. And that I might be wrong there, boys. I want to get your opinions on that. That's just kind of how I read that video and how I'm seeing the situation at the moment. But what about you?
It could be. You know what? I agree with you, Pete. And it could even be, that Freiburg and maybe, and again, I'm just speculating here. It could be, that Freiburg are a little bit frustrated because maybe Newcastle, as is done nowadays with transfer dealings, Newcastle have spoke with the representatives of Manzambi, and they're like, "Yeah, sign me up. I'm there. I'm ready." And Manzambi could, because that's what we had with Victor Munoz. Victor Munoz has agreed to join Newcastle United. Like the agents' fees were agreed, the salary was agreed, everything was agreed, and then Liverpool came in at the very last minute, and maybe that's what Freiburg are trying, to generate that interest. But there's no reason to say that Manzambi might be all in on Newcastle, and he might be like, no, I'm more than happy to join Newcastle. Obviously, that could change depending on the size of the club that comes in. Or he could be one of those players who's got his mind set and he's like, no, I'm going there. Who knows? But yeah, hey, listen, if you get anything positive from Fab Romano in relation to Newcastle United, I'm here for it, because normally it's very, very negative. So, let's see. Watch this space, I would say.
I hope he says one day he only wanted Newcastle. But look, that's why I think back to the first thing I said about being worried, because in a 2-horse race, Newcastle in the last little while, at least last couple of years, we don't. It doesn't work out too well. So let's see what happens. I just hope we get this one off the line. You just would really just increase the anticipation for the coming season.
Absolutely. I think he's definitely one that will get people excited if we were to wrap this deal up about the season ahead. Benny Boyd just put a little comment on there. I'm just going to steal the chat just 1 second, lads. He put, I wouldn't rule out Man United lurking in the shadows. They really want an attacking midfielder. Well, it doesn't seem like they're looking at that at this moment in time, because there's another player that's grabbing interest from Manchester United more so than us. And it's Andre Santos. Now, Andre Santos is a player that's been heavily linked with Manchester United today, to the point where conversations have been had with Manchester United at this moment in time. But it was also Newcastle's name were mentioned in The Guardian with regards to monitoring Andre Santos' situation. And Ben Jacobs also reports on it. Man United are at the table for him, but it also mentions that Newcastle are also keen and are monitoring the situation. So that's just one to keep an eye on there. The Guardian reported on it, Ben Jacobs as well. So it could well be, everyone was talking about, Man U are going to come in, this, that, and a bit. And they may well do, but they're not at the table right now for Manzambi. But it looks like their priority is elsewhere right now. And if you're Newcastle United, you're thinking, yes, go get Andre Santos, focus your attention there, so we can focus on what we want to do. So just a little point to mention.
And remember we were linked to Santos ourselves. I know we're linked there now, and that piece. But back before he ever went to Chelsea, and we were talking, bigging him up, and then it was the whole thing of Steve Nixon identify them, and then Newcastle never pulling the trigger and bringing on the South American young talents. But it's mad. It's kind of gone full circle. And of course, he went out to Strasbourg, and now he's not really getting a look in with Chelsea. And then Chelsea wanted to tweak things now that Alonso is in. So it is interesting the way it's all playing out there.
Definitely. And just the last one, really, before we come to some questions, lads, is this man, Angelo Stiller, a player that has piqued a little bit of interest from Newcastle United, and there's been a couple of reports over the last few days with regards to Angelo Stiller. Now, he's interested in another player that nearly was on the verge of joining Manchester United at the end of last summer. Didn't materialise, but had a good season, was picked for international squad, went to the World Cup, didn't really play. But what's interesting about this, Chronicle reported on this as well, is that he's got a 36.5 million release clause. We don't want to hear release clauses again. We know what happens with regards to release clauses in Newcastle. But I don't think this is a serious link at this stage, but maybe one that's on the list, lad. So that's why I brought it up, just as in a passing conversation about Angelo Stiller. But I mean, that's something that could well, if other deals don't go the way we want it to, that may well be explored later on down the line. But he's probably someone that's a little bit more further down the list. So didn't know if you'd seen it, didn't know if you'd heard about him, or seen any of the links, but it was just one I wanted to bring up just so we touched on it, just in case anything maneuvered in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'd seen it, but I didn't really look into him, to tell you the truth. I'm sure he knows Nick as well from his time at Stuttgart. But
Yes,
yeah, and it's interesting that like he's listed on Transfermarkt.com as 45 million euro, but his release clause is 36. So there's probably value there as well. But yeah, I think he's probably one if others don't pull off for us. But I'm interested in talking about another defensive midfielder, and as we get onto that, I'm sure in a minute or two as well. Where the land lies there, or what you're thinking, lads.
Is it the one that we've got on the screen, or what we've got in there? So there's two, and I didn't come to them because I was going to guess the question.
It's our main one, the main one that we've been talking about all summer, and January, I think, as well.
Let's discuss it then, because I've got it there as a conversation. I went to Santos because it was brought up about the Man United bit, but obviously Lamine Camara, the situation with him is an interesting one. What we did report last time, or we did talk about in the last show, is that Brighton were showing an interest in him. We knew Liverpool had shown an interest when we first were registering our interest at the end of last season. But what's happened since then is a bit of a twist. Lee Riley reports that, and as well as that, the Athletic report that Newcastle are out of the race for Lamine Camara, despite multiple reports elsewhere. Even though they're out of the World Cup, and you think at that point a deal would be done. At this stage, it's thought that Liverpool and Brighton are probably more ahead of the midfielder. However, lads, what was reported today, again, Scott Wilson reported this, is that Newcastle, from his perspective, are continuing to monitor Lamine Kamara's situation. And they are looking at Kamara because they value him extremely highly, as it says on there. And they're looking at his situation still, but more sort of a backward step on this. And there might be a reason for that, I don't know. But Daz, I'll let you come in.
Just kind of being observing it like everybody else. It's like are we kind of hesitant to move forward now because we're afraid we get burnt, like a Munoz, like all the strikers in the summer, and get gazumped? Is that the reason why we're kind of sitting back a bit and seeing how it develops? Because Senegal are out of the World Cup now, so we could move forward on this one now or pull the trigger, because the next thing you know, he's going to be gone on holiday, and then it's going to be more difficult to try and get a deal done. So why are we waiting and holding off now on this one? Surely we need, for me, we need a number 6 and a number 6 like him, Lamine Camara, that will sit. He's one that will sit, and that's what we said before. Back when we thought we would have Tonali, I was saying Tonali can push further forward then, and Kamara can sit. So now we don't have Tonali, thanks to Spurs and the 100 million. I think it becomes a priority for us to sign some. And I know Miley could slot in there, but we still have no right back. So Miley, for me, is going to be doing a job at right back for us. So yeah, it's a priority position as well as a number of others for us this summer.
Mm-hmm. What do you make of that situation with Lamine Camara, Chris? Obviously, conflicting reports. Athletic were reporting that, we're no longer interested in him, or we're out of the race, as they reported it. But Scott Wilson saying, we're still at the table for him. He's highly rated. We've obviously been talking about it for a couple of months now, when it came out that we were seriously interested in him. Like, where do you see the situation? Because he's out of the World Cup. He's free to negotiate with. Why we're not doing it? Could there be a reason why we're not looking to wrap this up quickly, like we have other deals?
Based on what I've heard and what I've read, it sounds to me. What's the name? Is there a film about this? I don't know, but that saying, he's not that into you. I get the impression it's that. I think that maybe Newcastle have approached him and stuff like that, and maybe Lamine Camara or his representatives have gone, okay, yeah, great, sounds good, but I want to see what else is out there, and maybe that's why Newcastle are continuing to kind of stay in the mix. but maybe aren't as keen to push because they're getting the impression that maybe Lamine Camara is hoping for a bigger deal elsewhere. And if that's the case, then, you know, either walk away, or maybe the reason that they haven't completely walked away, as some people suggest, is the fact that it's not that he doesn't want to come here. It's just the fact that maybe he's thinking that other clubs are going to be coming in. That's the impression I get from it. But obviously, I'm not in the room. I'm not there negotiating the deals. But that seems to be the impression that I get from Lamine Camara. I don't think it does us. I think it's good news that Lamine Camara hasn't been brilliant at the World Cup. Like, I think he's been a little bit disappointing, if anything. And I think that probably works in our favour in terms of maybe some clubs have seen that and gone, nah, not for us. I personally don't base, I don't base my opinion on a player on possibly 3, 4, 5 games. I just wouldn't do that. The chick flick. Yes,
Chris is watching the chick flicks.
I haven't seen.
There is a film, Chris. There is. He's just not that into you. 2009 romantic comedy starring Bradley Cooper, Scarlett Johansson, Jennifer Aniston, Ben Affleck, and a few more. So yeah, it must be on Netflix, Chris. Is it?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I might watch it, but I haven't seen it.
He's what people. We got 2,000 people in there. He's watched this before. We know.
You know what's happening. You know what's happened there, Pete.
No, genuinely, I've not seen the film, but I might watch it now. I might watch
Scarlett Johansson, people. Scarlett Johansson.
Hey, there could be worse films to watch based on that cast. Worst things to watch.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I just get the impression, not like Manzambi, because what we're hearing about Manzambi is that Manzambi is keen, but obviously, there's delays here and there. With Lamine Camara, as soon as I read, that Newcastle have cooled their interest, that would just, I don't think it's Newcastle going, I don't want him anymore. It's probably more the fact that what they're hearing from the representatives, from the player, is that they're probably thinking, maybe he's not that into us. And maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But the fact that we haven't walked away, because we heard, didn't we, to bring up your guy from earlier, Daz, Fernandez Pardo, we heard, didn't we, that it was like, yeah, he wants Champions League. And then seemingly we've just gone, okay. But maybe that's not the case with Lamine Camara, but maybe he's just looking for better opportunities. That's what
they'll get together in the end, Chris. They always do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully he's got a happy ending.
So someone check the credits of that film, because I think it might have been directed by him. He's just playing dumb on this. It could be, but we all know a film that's definitely linked to Fabrizio Romano, and it's this.
Yeah.
I think all Newcastle fans would agree.
What happened to DXLE? Chris watching. Where is it? Chris watching the Notebook instead of the England match tonight. Hey, I tell you what, it might be a better watch. It might be a better watch if we could get the game later.
Don't say that. I'm giving up my sleep for that game. Jesus Christ!
Oh, I know.
But we've gone rogue, people. We've gone rogue here.
We've gone
rogue. Absolutely. But you know what? It's an interesting point for me with Lamine Camara. I think Newcastle is still at the table. I think Newcastle will want the player. Maybe, I think you boys might be right. I think it might be that he's just seeing what the market is and who's interested. Got to remember, he played Champions League football last season, and he played well in the Champions League. So he is a player that can play Champions League football. So if there's a team, look, it's horrible for us to say, but if there's a team of a higher stature that's playing in the Champions League that's interested in him, naturally he's going to want to explore that. So, and this is the thing, like we are fighting from a lesser position because we're not in Europe. We've got the money and the finances to put down a deal on a player, but it's about what they want. And if there's another team that's offering something more, Champions League football, Europa League, whatever it is, and they can offer a little bit more than us, then we are going to become unstuck. So this is the thing, and this is why I think, and the XLE is quite nicely given us a segue here, and this might be why we're looking in a different direction. And there's this man that has been linked with Newcastle United, and it's Leslie Ogachukwu. Played for Burnley last season after a £24 million move. Had a good season for them, albeit a lot of people may not have seen it because Burnley as a team weren't great, but he had some good performances, and he comes from a good kind of standing. I think it was Stade Rennes that he started at in Ligue 1. Played really well there. Then classic situation, a good player that's playing in Ligue 1. What did Chelsea do? Go and swallow him up and go sign him, swallow him up, spit him out. He has a loan spell, ends up at Southampton, I believe, on loan, has a good loan spell there, gets his move to Burnley, plays well at Burnley, and now is being sort of linked with a move out. Obviously, they're in the Championship. He obviously wants to play a little bit higher than that. Now, with Leslie Iheanacho, it says obviously Newcastle have been linked with him, fits the profile, as it says in the report here. Obviously, 24 million from Burnley last summer, whether it's around the same fee or not. Interestingly, another team are interested in Galatasaray have put an offer on the table, and the offer on the table that's been reported from Galatasaray is a loan fee of 2 million euros with an obligation of 22 million euros on top. So it is a lesser fee all in than what Burnley paid for him. That's for Galatasaray. Whether Newcastle would get a similar deal, I don't know. But I don't know how much you know about Leslie Iheanacho, lads. It was a left field link. I was not expecting this to be linked with him. But when you kind of look at it and you look at the skill set of the player, I'm kind of like, okay, I can maybe see the vision there. But what do you boys think? Would you be happy with Leslie Iheanacho being signed as an alternative to a Lamine Camara?
Well, I like to call him Chuck, Pete, for obvious reasons I won't go into. No, like I do remember watching Bernie, and he did stand out. But I haven't watched an awful lot of him. He did stand out in the few games I did see him, and I go, oh, who's that guy? But again, yeah, young. I'd still rather Lamine Camara, but yeah, someone that Eddie Howe can develop, of course, and maybe he sees a high ceiling in him as well. So yeah, interested to see where that one goes. And but it does, once again, it does look like we're going to be bringing in that kind of defensive midfielder, number 6 kind of player. But good luck, Chuck. Might see you soon.
You made Bill laugh, or should I say, you made Bill chuckle. With that one, with the old nickname there. But Chris, Leslie Iheanacho, again, like I say, left field. Is that someone that you would take? It again, it's a left field signing, one that's not out there, but one that maybe potentially could make sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The reason I'm laughing, by the way, is because I'm looking at James Warbridge's comments. And I couldn't agree more with James, by the way. Yeah. He says he reminds me of Lavia, also has great athleticism and power, great touch and short passing. And then in my head, I'm going, as I was talking, I'm thinking, yeah, he's got a particular skill set. And then I feel like I'm edging then towards another film title. And I've got Liam Neeson in my head. And then, yeah, that's why I started laughing. And I was like, Chris, stop. Too many film quotes.
Proper film that. You're going down that direction.
Proper film that. Proper film taken.
It is, and you know what? And maybe there's a film theme here as well, because obviously when Burnley announce all the players, they do like film themes, don't they? When they announce the players, so maybe we're destined to get Chuck. Who knows? But no, I mean, I think as well with the number 6, and genuinely, I do think this. You do need a player with a particular skill set. It doesn't have to be. In the number 6 position, it doesn't have to be this all singing, all dancing, fantastic, wonderful player. It's a player who basically puts out fires, and those type of players who kind of go unnoticed a little bit, maybe a little bit underappreciated. You could end up finding a gem, and that gem could be Iheanacho, because you're getting him for a reasonable price. Obviously, he started out his career, you're right, Pete, at Stade Rennes, and then obviously he's got that big move to Chelsea. It's not worked out for him. He's a great age. And this is the type of player, isn't it, that you're bringing in for a reasonable fee, 22 million. And he could be one of those players. Jordy's life's telling me to let it go. Yeah, I can't. I'll end up singing. But yeah, I think with players like him, the fan base might go, he's not very inspiring. I saw someone put in the chat earlier, I don't want him. But, the fact that he plays for Burnley, it isn't the most attractive for players. But when you look at his raw skill set and you look at, 6'3", powerful, and if he's the type of player that allows you 2 number 8s sitting in front of him, potentially if we're playing 4-3-3 still, to basically get on with the work, and he's sweeping up and protecting that back line, it could be a very, very smart signing. Because let's be honest, boys, we're not gonna sign 6, 7, 8 players this summer and spend 40 million on all of them. We're just not. We're just not in that market. But if you can go out and sign a player who maybe has gone under the radar for some, and you sign him for what, 20, 25 million, whatever it may be, and he's the type of player that fits in this system, that gives you that athleticism, that allows your more technical players to get on with it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So no, I from bits I've seen of him, he looks a handy player. He looks like somebody who has got all the raw materials to be a very, very good player. And like I say, if Chelsea are coming in and swooping in to sign him, he's obviously done something right earlier on in his career. And yes, he's ended up at Burnley, and maybe he's not been allowed to actually progress or to stand out as much as maybe he could, because he's in, with all due respect, he's in that Burnley team, and Burnley are getting battered week in, week out. If he comes into a Newcastle United side, do you see a better version of Ugo Chukwu? Arguably. So I think it could be a smart signing. It could be.
Chris, I just want to pull you up on one thing. Are you sure it was Taken you saw Liam Nielsen and it wasn't Love Actually? You might be getting the two of them mixed up.
I love Love Actually as well. I do love Love Actually. I will say that now. One of my favourite Christmas films, that. But yeah, particular skill set too. Yeah, just think of Liam Neeson. So if we sign him, and if Newcastle don't do a reveal video of Liam Neeson saying he's got a particular skill set, we're missing it.
Look, I was having a chat with someone on socials today with regards to just because I was talking about Christ and Ula, a player that I mentioned the other week.
Yeah.
Obviously, Fabrizio Romano talked about him potentially leaving Trabzonspor today. I think it was this morning. Yeah, you put it out this morning that he's likely to be leaving. But for me, like, I personally think Newcastle need an almost a number 6 destroyer. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
We talked about it 3 years ago about Manu Kone.
Yep.
Talked about him being brought in there, and I think he's probably out of our ballpark now. He's been fantastic in this World Cup and been brilliant for AS Roma this season. He's probably a bit too far out for us to attract, but I do believe in order to unlock the other 2 midfielders further forward, like a Bruno and a Manzambi, for example, to let them go and do their stuff, I do believe we'd need a number 6. I don't know whether Eddie Howe will go that way, but I think a Leslie Ugochukwu, a Lamine Kamara, and Ina Ula, someone like that in that, who's just going to sit there and just break up everything in midfield would be great. And look, I'd be lying to you if I said I watched loads of Leslie Ugochukwu last season. I didn't. Saw a couple of bits of him when he played against us. I thought he did okay at times, playing against a much better midfield than his. I thought he held himself quite well. I mean, he's a big, strapping lad, 6'2", part of the 6 Foot Club. And he puts himself about. He's got a real physicality about his game, and he intercepts, he makes good tackles, breaks up play really well, and technically he's actually pretty decent on the board. He likes to play in tight spaces. Like he is that type of midfielder that I think we would need in there. So I wouldn't be against it if our main options weren't there. And the price point, again, lads, a price point is important. If you could get him on a €2 million loan and get it on to a potential 20 million fee overall, and he has a great season for us, we'll be sitting here this time next year thinking we've got an absolute snip there. Is he our first choice? No, he's not. Lamine Kamara would be our first choice. There'd be others out there that they'd probably want to go for. But I think there's a certain. I think what it says to me is that Ross Wilson and Eddie Howe are looking for a certain type of skill set for that other midfielder, for that midfielder to come in and be that guy. And it kind of brings me to a point. We'll come to the questions now, actually, but I starred this 1 second, lads. I was put on. Claire G says, True already said Tonali stopped us losing games, but we lost 17 with him in the team. And you're absolutely right. But Brian is right in what he said. Like, Tonali did help us in those transitions. The amount of times his speed and his power recovered the board in situations where they were counter-attacking us. He did have an effect in the team, but Tonali isn't a natural six. He became that six forward. I think what you'll find is when he goes to Spurs, he'll play more as an 8, and you'll probably see a different type of performance from him.
Yeah, he will.
I spoke to the Mags down south lads, and they were like, "Oh, he's going to do crap in the Spurs team," and I was like, "I think Tonali will do all right because he'll play more as an 8 than a 6. He'll play in a different position. You'll probably see a different type of performance from him." But we don't care about that. We want what we need for our team, and I think we probably need to look for someone who's probably more suited to a 6 or a more specialized 6. Maybe like you look at the players that have been linked with. Lamine Kamara can play a 6 and he can play an 8, but he can do them equally as good.
Yeah,
you know, I'm throwing him. I'm just putting him in there. We've not been linked with him. Probably won't sign him, but Ulai can play in a 6 and he can play in an 8, and he can do both very, very well. Yeah, Leslie Agachukwu can definitely play in a 6, can play in an 8, probably plays better in a 6. So there's just 3 players there. You got Andre Santos, can play in a 6, can play in an 8, can do both very well. So there's 4 players there that we've been linked with in that position that actually can do both of those jobs, but do them actually pretty well. And they've got the skill set to play in that position. It feels like to me that we're looking for a certain type of skill set, not a certain caliber of player. So we're not just looking at a high-profile player. We're looking at a player that can be functional for our team, and that's kind of what I see from that situation. But
yeah, I agree.
Just one thing, and it's kind of linking back to the comment that Claire had in, and it was about what Jordi had said about Tonali, I think. But this is the first time I'll ever say anything bad about Tonali, and I've never said anything bad about Tonali up until now. Now I can, but I thought he was class for us, and when he was playing in number 6, he did an excellent job. But he a bit like Bruno. Bruno was more like this. He liked to wander forward as well. He wasn't happy sitting in that number 6 role, and that's why when we're talking about it, number 6 role, that's why Lamine Kamara looks like he's the one that he sits. He is happy to sit, and I call that number 6 role. Maybe because of that bit order, I call it the David Batty role. That he sits and is happy just to mop everything up and not to do anything else fancy, just do that role. And that's the kind of player I think we need.
Go on, Chris.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, it's just agreeing with what Daz has said there from Keith. Keith says that gap between the back 4 and the midfield has cost us so many times. Just go back and watch the goals we conceded last season. We need a number 6. You need somebody who's happy, or and you do get them. With goalkeepers, you get players who are just predominantly so obsessed with their position and wanting to do their role in the team. Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes have got so much to offer. They've got so much to offer going forward. They probably felt a little bit stunted in that role, but you will have players who want to sit in that role, want to shield the defence, and basically will be sniffing out, trying, as I've said before, to put out any fires, and that's their role in the team. They don't want to progress. They don't want to go forwards and, score 30-yard screamers. Maybe it's not in the locker, I don't know, but there will be players out there who just primarily want to stay in that number 6 role and just want to shield the defence, and that is exactly what we need. And I know Eddie Howe said that he wanted in that 4-3-3 system to have 3 players who can rotate within that midfield 3. If you've got 3 players who all subconsciously want to push forward, you've got a problem, because you need someone to sit. You've got to have someone who wants to sit.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and we do. It's not just last season, though. Last 3 seasons, how many times have we talked about a Man City or a Liverpool just putting someone in the pocket and one pass just completely bypasses our midfield 3 and then they're in and behind? I remember Tonali's first season, second game of the season after we beat Villa, I think it was, however many. We went to the Etihad, and it was how they scored their goal. They just put Alvarez in the pocket, ball came through, bypassed our midfield and he scored that goal into the far corner. And it was that easy. Later on in that same season, that's how they won the game when we were brilliant at St. James's Park. And then they won it when De Bruyne came on and he just literally played a couple of balls into that little pocket and bang, they just scored 2 goals and ended up winning the game. And it was just like, it was that easy. And we just don't have that player that can do it. And it's been calling out for it for the last 3 years, especially 6. Yeah. But it's whether Eddie Howe will play with that. That is the big question there. But there's lots of players that we're going to be linked to it. Boys, I know we've got loads of super chats and we're going to come to them now and a few questions. So we might well mop up any of the other topic discussions through the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark. Sorry, Chris. Can you say that again? I think it was lost in translation. These films, the films are flying in. The films are flying in. They absolutely are. We haven't done that before, but I like it. Before I come to questions, I've got to say we've got 2,409 people watching. Wow. 2,409 people. Thank you so much, everybody, for giving up your Sunday evening as we prepare for the World Cup games later on. But yeah, just a big massive thank you to everybody for tuning in. If you're watching on X, please do consider coming over to YouTube, get involved in the chat, come and give us your film quotes and your film your film titles.
No!
We are enjoying them, but no, seriously, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and comment. Hit that like button and obviously get yourself in the chat and leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. It would be great to have you on board. So thank you very much, everybody. I have to say that. And also, after this video, hit that hype button. We don't give the hype enough. What's the word I'm looking for? We don't tell people to hype enough.
Hype?
So, yeah. Hype after the show. It will be hyper.
Let's do it.
Right. Okay. And for anyone wondering why I'm saying hyper like that, we do normally have a little ditty that used to say that. It's not just me saying it really strange.
I think Daniel's proud. He's not the proud.
There it is.
We
do. It wasn't just me being really weird. Anyway, let's get to these super chats, and we have many. So thank you everybody for hitting those super chats in. Much appreciated. James Warbridge. James says, evening lads, don't want to sound too negative, but I don't think he's the right signing. Another pace merchant and runner. Manzambi on the other hand. So I think James is referring to Bazoumana Touré here. I think he's saying that he's another pace merchant. From the clips you've seen, boys, do you feel the same? Do you think Bazoumana Touré has, still got a little bit of, there's still a little bit of work to do because he is only 20 years old, isn't he?
I don't see that. Touré is a player with huge potential. I think he's a player. You only have to look at this season. I think I did him a disservice, actually. I said he got like 5 goals and 9 assists. I think he got 12 assists last season. So what it tells you is Touré has that level of creativity about his game. He's a creator, a natural creator. And I actually think, he could be someone that could be really, really pivotal to what we do in attacking phases next season. Because he's rapid, I think people have this mentality, he's a bit like a Langer, he just runs all day and that's what he's got. Actually, no, he's got immense quality to his game. You don't be the best dribbler of the ball in Europe's top 5 leagues if you've not got quality or technique to your game. The fact that he's able to be direct and run with the ball and take on players, successful dribbles means that not only do you take on players, that you're able to put the final product into the box and create opportunities. That's what he's showing. And Touré is still young. He's 20 years old. He's got bags of potential and room to grow. And that was one of the things that Eddie Howe talked about in his comments when we announced the official signing. He's got room to grow to be even better than what he is now. I think he's perfect for the Premier League. I think he's going to be really, really good. Once we get to grips with him, I think he's going to be a really good player. So yeah, that's just kind of where I see it. I see him as a real positive. Yeah.
And Daz, I'm going to come to you with Bill Ashby's comments on the same subject. But Bill Ashby says, doubt Harvey Barnes will leave now. Touré needs to bed in. Is that how you see it as well, Daz?
Well, it depends what happens with Morgan Rogers at Villa, because will Villa come back in for or look towards Barnes? And if there was a decent enough offer there, maybe something we look at. We know what Barnes offers. It's not pace, but it's goals, and it's cutting inside, doing the opposite maybe to what Touré can do, and bagging a goal first. So he wouldn't be the first one I want to let go at him because he has something to offer us in next season. But the previous question, what was it again? Yes.
Yeah, sorry, previous question. From James.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to lie here, to borrow a phrase from Pete. He was about my fourth or fifth on the list. So, he's the one that wanted to come to Newcastle. So that says something to me. He wants to be here, and let's see what. And I haven't seen enough of him to be honest either. So I want to see what he can do just in a black and white shirt, and that's what I'll judge him on. And it's great that he is a high ceiling and plenty of growth left in him. So he'll be up. He's already 6 foot now once he signed for us.
Yeah,
leave that to lads.
Absolutely.
We've elevated it.
Well, we've got numerous super chats here from Frieden, but I wanted to bring this one up first, boys, because Frieden says he's ordered 3 shirts and used the loads of codes. So Frieden's already involved. Frieden knows. He's gone onto OK jerseys. He's got his 8% off, and he's ordered his World Cup jerseys. And we've got to keep a lookout as well, boys, for the OK jersey as well, because no doubt the Newcastle shirt will be in motion now. It will be in motion, the new Newcastle United shirt. Yeah.
World Cup final.
World Cup finals of the day.
So when the World Cup final ends, that's when the Premier League and the football season kicks in. So at the moment, it's World Cup heavy with OK jerseys. But spoke to the team there at OK jerseys. They said, as soon as the World Cup final's over, that's when you're going to get your Newcastle gear in. So he said to keep an eye on that. So it will be dropping. So I believe July the 19th is the World Cup final day. So I imagine it will be dropping any time after that. So keep on to okjerseys.com. Get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Absolutely. But Frieden hits us with a super chat here. So thank you, Frieden. I'm going to murder this, Frieden. I'm going to do this wrong. I just know I am. I don't know whether there's a wrestling theme in this, Pete. And if there is, I apologize for murdering it, but it might not even be that. Frieden says, dunk, dunk, roo. Dunk, dunk, roo. Loaded Mags, NUFC is the best. Shout out to Jeannie, Sophie, Ali, Claire, and Martin. They are all Norwegian tonight. Maybe it's a Norwegian chant. Maybe. Well, Frieden, best of luck this evening, mate. Best of luck this evening.
It is the chant that in Norway too. Yes. Right. Remember, Iceland had one as well.
Yeah.
I see. Was that with the rowing boats as well?
That was the Iceland one. Was the clap? It gets faster as it goes along.
Yeah. Was it Norway who did the rowing boat? You know, when they did the celebration, they sit on the floor and do the row. Yeah, because it wasn't.
That's the Titanic. You're thinking, Chris, the Titanic.
No.
Different genre of film. Different genre.
I'm sure. Someone in the chat tell me. I'm sure. Now I'm thinking about it. All the players sat on the floor and were rowing. And Ødegaard was leading the thing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Celebration. I like that. Yeah. Okay. Oh no. So thank you anyway, Fran. That's really, really, really nice. And nice to give a shout out there to everybody. So thank you so much, mate. Sophie, who's been a member, Spanner. Sophie's been a member for 15 months. So Sophie's on the other side. Fran, sorry about this, mate. Come on, Brazil, Bruno. Smash them likes. Thank you, Sophie. And I hope you'll still be friends after this game. Hopefully, you'll still be friends, you and Frieden. Fingers crossed. Frieden again. Thank you so much, Frieden. Pete.
You know it. It is that Ross Wilson summer.
It's a Ross Wilson summer. You know. Where are we? Stephen, thank you so much for your super chat, mate. Stephen says, Philip has been in Heidelberg for 18 months and reckons Touré is really good, but is worried his temperament will make it hard for him to adapt to the league. But Manzambi will be unfazed by nothing. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. One will have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, Manzambi, the noise around Manzambi, it's really loud at the moment, isn't it, boys? Really, really loud. In fact, I'm going to ask you, yes or no, boys, are we getting Manzambi? Will Manzambi be in a Newcastle United shirt unveiled? What do you think, yes or no? As of the 5th of July.
I know Dad was still in there. I'm on the positivity train. I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say we wrap up this deal. I just, there's too much positivity around how Newcastle are acting on this deal, even more so than the Victor Munoz one that says that they really want this guy. I get the feeling that this one really kicks the summer into gear in terms of shaping and changing the mentality about Newcastle United. I think if we can get him in, it just goes to show that we are attracting top young talent and that they want to come to Newcastle United. So I think this one is really, really crucial to get done.
Chris, considering I have a Manzambi poster already done, I don't have one done for Lamine Camara. That means nothing. But yes, I hope he does.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say yes as well. I think we might get Manzambi, and I'd love it if we did. I would absolutely love it if we did. I think that would be the most exciting one of the summer so far if we were to get Manzambi, because obviously he's absolutely smashing it at the World Cup, isn't he? So it would be a great coup for Newcastle United if we were to get him. Stephen, with a really good super chat, really good point he makes here. Thank you, Stephen. Stephen says, I hope we are hearing about a keeper and a right back soon.
Yeah.
Me too. That number one is so important. It's so important. Really, really is. Do you think we'll hear about a right back first or a goalkeeper first, in your opinion, boys?
I'll go in here. We might hear something about a goalkeeper around 3 a.m. tonight. No reason why whatsoever. Over to you, Pete.
That's the one time. There's the one time I'm unhappy to hear you say that. No, I don't think we'll be hearing about a goalkeeper at 3 a.m. tonight. I don't believe we will. But I do believe a goalkeeper will be in before a right back, because for me, the goalkeeper is a priority signing, and I think we need to prioritize that first before we get a right back in. Pre-season, we can make shift. But the goalkeeper is part of our spine of the team, and it needs to be rectified very, very quickly. So for me, goalkeeper needs to come in.
Yeah. Not forgetting, we've got Tino Livramento, obviously, first choice right back. Will he be fully ready for the start of the season? We hope. It sounds like he's going to come back at some point during pre-season, but we will see. And then obviously we know we've got Louis Miley there who can play right back, and hopefully he too will be back at some point during pre-season as well. But we'll see. But yeah, I agree. Number one for me is the goalkeeping position is the priority. Absolutely. Right, boys. Fryden again. Thank you so much for the super chat, Fryden. Love the sponsor video. Some Oscars will come. Well, we've been waiting, Fryden.
One take.
Matt time, mate. Matt the time. One take. That's all we say. One take. That was one take. Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget to use your QR code.
Absolutely.
Right, where are we? Fryden again. Fryden, you're flying, mate. Thank you so much. Do you have insect spray here? I've got a couple of annoying bees I'd like to get rid of.
That's cryptic.
Yeah, I feel like it's cryptic.
Please tell us what the cryptic what the cryptic message is.
There is loads of flies around at the minute. In fairness, there is loads of flies around at the minute. We've been having flies. Well, it doesn't help with Lisa leaving the back door open, but that's by the by. But yeah, I do feel your pain. Thankfully, no bees though, Fryden. But yeah, if there's a
did he mean to send that to someone else? I wonder. That was like a text. I don't know.
All will be revealed. Hopefully, Fryden will tell us in the chat. Rich has come in with a super chat, not Newcastle related. Hope you're well, Rich. Thank you so much, mate. I have a survey at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. What the hell do I do regarding England? Help. What are you lads doing? Well, I'll kick it off, Rich. I think I'm just going to stay up, mate. I am a bit of a late night person anyway. I'll probably regret it come around 3 o'clock. But I'm thinking, do you know what? It's a one-off. My biggest worry, Rich, being honest, my biggest worry is the weather, because there's reports that they're going to, postpone the game or, bring the players in until the weather improves. I would hate that to happen on, say, like the 60-minute mark. And then you're just sitting there waiting for the game to restart. That's my biggest worry, that, it just drags on and on and on. And then before you know it, it's 6 a.m. That is my biggest concern, mate. But Pete, what are your plans for this evening? Or this morning?
Yeah, I'm watching it with the lads. So I'm going to meet the lads to watch it. Non-alcoholic, because I've got to be up early in the morning. But it's the last week for me. I've got some holiday to enjoy after this week. So I'm just gonna grin and bear it and just power through. I'm gonna power through.
Jesus. Daz, what are you going to do?
I'll sleep like a baby because I've taken my Oxford Natural and night supplements, not the wrong ones, Jordan, the right ones. For Rich, I would say any chance you can move it, ask him to move it, because I'm sure the people that you're interacting with, they might want to be the same. They mightn't have thought. So see, can you move it? Try that. That's be my suggestion.
Yeah. I was talking to my auntie today, and she was saying that one of her friends is recording the game, and they're going to get the kids up at like 6 a.m. before school and let them watch it before school. And I was like, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Yeah. So, but no, I think I'm going to brave it. But good luck, Rich. Good luck. And fingers crossed, mate, the weather's all right, and we're all in bed by 3 a.m. Fingers crossed. But we will see. We will see. And who knows? You might even fall asleep watching it, depending on what the game's like. Who knows? Who knows? I know. We will. Pete will be asleep in the pub. Right. A few random questions here. And Rich again. Rich says, Riyad Mahrez is available, Chris. I thought of you when I saw it on X. Could we? I'd love Riyad Mahrez, but for many reasons, one being his age, I just couldn't see it happening, but I would love it. I mean, his wages must be absolutely astronomical, or his wage request would be astronomical, because I think he was on a pretty penny at City, and then he got a wage rise when he went to Saudi. So yeah, he'll be on a few quid. I'm sure.
I thought of you as well, Chris, when I saw it, and I was going to stick it in our chat, but I thought, after we were saying we're not going to sign anyone over 23, 24, that would be a bit contradictory. All right.
Yeah.
But, no.
Yeah. Oh, Jonathan. Jonathan says, very good point. Touré versus Munoz will be an interesting watch now. So yeah, they are the two comparison. So I think it will be interesting to keep an eye on both of those. But yeah, thank you for your super chat there, Jonathan. And this one's for Pete. The Clon Lad says, did we miss out on Anthony for 17 million?
Jaden Anthony, do you mean?
Jaden Anthony, yeah.
Well, I'm just glad that deal was done to Brentford, just so Newcastle fans stop assuming that we're just going to end up with him. The fact that we've got Touré and the fact that he's now back to see this deal to Brentford just ends that conversation there. No more conversation about Jaden Anthony. He's going to move on. I'm sure he'll do well at Brentford, but yes, he won't be coming to Newcastle, which Newcastle fans will be happy with. That's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. Dazzler, this one's for you from Daniel Kane. Daniel Kane says, love your show, guys. Thank you so much, Daniel. Do you think we will have to pay slightly over the top to get Manzambi?
What's over the top? What kind of, is it 40, 50 kind of mark where at the moment?
Yeah, I think they were talking 60 million euros, which is probably early 50s.
yeah, that's about it. That's as much as we'll go, I think, as well. I don't think if it gets into a bidding war with someone else, I don't think we'll be heading towards 70. No, not that would be crazy as well, because while he is doing well, he still has to prove it week in, week out in a different league. But yeah, and we've already said we don't think we'll go over 50 to 60 million on one player this summer. So that would be a big outlay, and then maybe a bit of a gamble at going any higher than that.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. And boys, we've had a question from X. So questions come in via X from Craig Cav. And Craig Cav says Touré only wanted Newcastle.
Nice, we'll Craig.
That. We will have that. Absolutely, we'll have that. And I'll tell you what else we'll have as well, boys. I did see this, it made me laugh. Jeannie says, "What's with the Voss Wilson loving?" It's a Voss Wilson summer, mate. It's a Voss Wilson summer. Remember that?
The Voss Wilson summer.
Yeah, remember
Junior should know this. He's been here long enough to know this has been a Ross Wilson summer for a long time now. Come on, man.
And it will continue to be. It will continue to be until the 1st of September. It will be a Ross Wilson summit until the 1st of September. And then we will see where the land lies. We will see. Claire G asked earlier on, who's this Burnley player we are looking at instead of Kamara? It is Ugo Chukwu.
Chuck.
That was the Chuck, as we affectionately know him as. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Let me see. Boys, what did you make of this from Jay? Jay says there's a lot of talk around Christian Kouamé coming to Newcastle, but apparently his club are asking for a very, very large amount. It's Leverkusen, isn't it? If I'm right in thinking.
Another player we didn't get to today, but Christian Kouamé from Bayer Leverkusen absolutely is a player that Newcastle have been linked with. Chronicle reported on it today. He's been linked with us for a while now. It's a huge astronomical fee that apparently that they want for him. But it has been reported in Build that we are monitoring him alongside Arsenal. Arsenal have been linked with him quite heavily now. I think he was signed from Albacete's under-19s last summer. And I think they only paid some like 4.6 million for him. But he's had a real breakout season for them. I think it's 7 goals, 6 assists in this season. So he's had a really good turnover. But it's his raw skill set that I think is what's interesting Newcastle, because he's such a powerful runner. He's a high presser. He's a powerful runner, but he's really strong on the board. His hold-up play is good. And he just seems to be getting better and better. And he's only young. He's only 19. Yeah. And I think because of that high potential, that's why it sparked the interest of people like Arsenal. Can they bring him in? Can they kind of mold him into the player that they want, and he kicks on and hits the ground running? For me, just from the little bits that I've seen of him, he looks like he's the perfect type of player for the Premier League, which is why I think a number of Premier League teams are looking at him. I'll be honest with you, from my perspective, if you're looking at that sort of money from Leverkusen, like, we're out the race. We're not signing a player for that sort of money. Any player, I just don't believe we will. But I think him as a player is probably ideal alongside a foreign Balogun or a player of that type. I think that type of player is perfect for what Newcastle need. But yeah, it's 85 million. We're not paying that. But I'll be honest, I don't think Arsenal will pay that.
I don't think anyone will pay that.
It does feel like they're pricing him out and removed, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They obviously want to keep him. It's his first season there. It's his breakout season. And a bit like Yandy Monday, that they've almost kind of put such a huge price tag on him that if someone's like crazy enough to pay it, they'll go, okay, fine, you can have him. And it gives me a feel like that. But Baz, I don't know what you think about the final stuff.
Yeah, I think Chris, you put it in our chat, and I think I also had the 100 million wrote underneath it. And it's not even point in looking at it. So I have a look at it. I know nothing about it because the figures being talked about, it just already ruled it out. But best of luck to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Boys, we're coming up to the 2-hour mark, so I'll whiz through a few more. This is an interesting one, actually, and a couple of people have asked this question as well, so it's probably worth popping these on. DXLE says, some might call me negative, but does a front three of Touré, Asula, and Alanga get enough goals to finish in the top 6? And I think that is a very, very fair question. And Jimmy Watt says, very similarly, what do you guys think about the Geordie journos saying that they were hearing Asula could be the main man next season? So I suppose balancing the two, one, Touré, Asula, Alanga, which certainly, as of right now, looks like the starting front three for Liverpool at St James's Park, first game of the season. Is that enough for goals? And secondly, from what Jimmy's saying, Pete, there, would you be happy with Asula being the main man, or is there going to still need to be a little bit of business done in that striking department, or are you happy to go with the three we've got?
I think it's a big risk having Asula as your main starter next season. He had a good end to the season, great, and we were all pleased that he was having that good end to the season. But look, we're sitting with a different objective at the start of this season, going into 26-27. We're not looking at, we just need to win a game. We're expecting to win games and expecting to score goals and expecting to play well. And so there's a different expectation on Will Asula's shoulders, which I'm not sure he's ready for. I think it's still a big risk. Having him as your main striker. He has the skill set, but is he someone that can produce it week in, week out for a full calendar season? I'm not quite sure. I've said it to you boys before. I do believe that we need a significant striker to come in. It will mean that one needs to leave. Who that is, that's up for debate and discussion. But I think one striker needs to leave, and I think a significant striker who we can hold our hat on, that can go out there and perform and score goals week in, week out, needs to come through the door. And look, we've had our discussions that Balogun was a player that I talked about before. We've talked about the continued links with someone like Vlahovic, regardless of his wages and how much he costs. I think a player of that ilk needs to come through the door. I genuinely believe so. I wouldn't be comfortable with Asula leading the line for the full season. He may well surprise us, but I think with the business we're doing in all these other positions to get ourselves ready, to then not improve the striking position where the goals need to come from, I just think we're almost doing 95% of the work, and then the 5% that could make the difference falls kind of flat. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Do you think, and Daz, I'm going to slightly reframe the question there, but I suppose add something extra on and say, do you think that one of those three strikers needs to go in order for that third striker to come in, as Pete's just suggested, to get that 5%, you've got to let another biggie go. And a biggie for me would be a Voltemade, maybe a Wisset, maybe even an Asula. Do you think that's something that would need to happen in order to get that striker in?
Yes, 100%, Chris, because I 100% agree with what Pete said. It's exactly what I'm thinking when it comes to the striking department. I think I don't feel comfortable having Asula as our main man, and I don't feel comfortable having Nick Voltemade or Wissa as our main men, because just different skill sets. And Wissa, I also don't see someone coming in paying the money we'd want to offload Wissa. I'd love if we did, but I can't see that happening. Nick Voltemade, I can see someone coming in, and as we said the last day, we maybe with the book value, we may let go for like 55 million or that kind of figure. I could see something like that happening, and then going back to Germany, and that would unlock us to go forward and spend our money on the main man, and have Asula as the backup, or for the main man to get up and running. But yeah, that focal point of our team, and again, echoing back to what Pete said, taking care. If we were to take care of everything else, including the keeper and the right back and defensive midfielder, then yeah, we need to do something up front as well. But what kind of budget are we going to have to do that? That's what we need to unlock us in the striking department. We need to sell something. Yeah,
if you sell a striker for 50 million and then you go out and buy a new striker for 50 million, that's probably going to unlock the door, as you say, isn't it, Daz? I don't think you can. I think that's an early money. Yeah. I think that's an early money. It looks like it's probably going to go towards another central midfielder and maybe another winger. That's certainly how it feels. But I suppose we will wait and see. A few more comments, a couple more questions, and we'll wrap up, boys. So we've got to come to this one. Alan Thompson says, Pete, Pete will be 6'4" if England beat Mexico tonight, but Pete might be on top of the bar to reach that 6'4". And then another one here from Lee Jones. Pete, if you're purchasing the real 6 Foot Club t-shirt, are you going to be able to reach it from the hanger?
Oh. Now, you know what?
This is terrible. Pete's getting
Alan,
sick now. What's going on?
Alan, you've been with this channel for years and years and years, and I like you. But you're on thin ice after that comment. And Lee, we've been buddies for a while now. You backed me. You backed me when I've been in the corner, in the trenches, and now you do this to me. Not believe it, man.
Oh God.
The real ones know. The real ones know. The real 6 Foot Club t-shirt, and the real ones know the real 6 Foot Club ambassador. And that's me.
Ambassador.
CEO, director, sporting director, whatever you want to call it. Just put my name to that list.
I love this comment from Jack Bainbridge. So Jack, when you just before you go into bed, mate, hopefully this shout out will make you happy. Jack says, wanted this on to listen to before sleeping for the match. Lo and behold, it's live. You's never miss, boys. Hopefully a video soon for Manzambi. Take care, lads. And then 3 lines.
Nice one, Jack.
Top man.
Hopefully.
Top man. Boys, I'm going to ask you 2 more very, very quick questions. Okay. Alan Thompson. Alan's getting serious now after that comment. Alan says, serious question, boys. How many players do you think we need, and how many do you think we will get? Alan says 7. Alan says 7 in total. Now, I'm assuming Alan's talking about 5 in addition to the 2 we've already got, because I can't see us getting another 7, surely.
I refuse to answer this question because of the insult to my 6 foot brother on my that side. Sorry, Aaron.
Yes. Just bear with me 1 second because my laptop's about to go off. I'm not protesting or anything.
Look what you did, Alan.
Look what you've done, Alan. Alan, I'll answer your question, mate. I'm gonna say, I think we need at least 4 more, at least. And the 4 I would name would be another winger, a central midfielder, a right back, and a new goalkeeper. As a bare minimum. New number 1, central midfielder, right back, and another winger. Now, I've not mentioned the striker there, and I've not mentioned the backup left back. So you could argue that that's 6. Mm-hmm. But as a bare minimum, it needs to be 4 as a bare minimum.
The Chronicle are saying 4 more after Baz Touré.
But then would you, it's a fair comment, actually, isn't it? Because would you then be a little bit nervous? Because going into a full season with only Lewis Hall and potentially Dan Burn at left back, which we won't talk about, that does leave you a little bit shy. Unless, of course, you sign a right back who can also play left back, a little bit similar to Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall, who knew he could play right back. Maybe that solves that position. And then in terms of the striker, I agree with you boys from what you were saying earlier. I'm not sure I would feel comfortable going in with Asula, Wissa and Voltemar there, because one of them could step up and be absolutely outstanding. Yeah. Or we could see what we saw last season, where we've got, one player who's stepping up, but maybe not as high as we want. And then you've got 2 players who are still underperforming. And then you've got a problem. You've got a big problem.
And at some stages, we weren't even playing. We had so many strikers, they're all on the bench. And at that time, we were playing Gordon up front. And Sean Neve was even getting a look in.
Yeah. Sophie's saying 4. Sophie's saying 4 more. But is 4 enough, Pete?
No, I think 6. I think we need 6. I think we need a goalkeeper. I think we need a right back. I think we need a left back. I think we need a central midfielder. I think we need another winger on the right-hand side. And I think we need a striker. And we've got to take into consideration that players will leave. So Pope will leave, so we need a goalkeeper coming in. We know that Willock's likely to leave, so we're going to need another centre midfielder coming in there. We know, or we think that a Murphy or an Elanga might leave, more likely Murphy. And there's a chance that a striker leaves. So we know that other players are going to leave the club. So therefore, we need to replace those players, and those players need to come in for sure. And, we were talking about before about, the potential of if Morgan Rogers leaves Villa, will they come for Barnes? That then throws in a seventh because we need another left winger. So, there's a lot of movement here. I don't think I think it's set that we kind of, as the squad stands right now, we need maybe 4, which is what I think the journalists are reporting. But I think that's very much a moving part because as these other players leave, we need to replace them. This squad needs to be strong enough to get through a season. And we have to plan for potential injuries. So, for example, we know Tino Livramenta's injuries are questionable. So we need to prepare for that. Lewis Hall isn't the best with injuries too, so we need a left back that's going to come in and do a job. We know Joe Linton's injury is not great, so we need someone that can come in and replace him or start ahead of him to take his workload off. He's 30 now, and he's he's starting to wind down his career, I think, at Newcastle. And so I think from that perspective, Joe Linton should be playing a lesser schedule for Newcastle, and a Manzambi coming in allows that to happen. And then you're looking at the striker situation, and I do think one of those 3 needs to leave in order to supplement another one. So I'm saying 6, but it's very much a fluid moving part there. And I think that I always remember, and he's continuously said this, by the way, friend of the channel, Keith Downey, he mentioned even as far back as February, March time that Newcastle were aiming for 8 new signings this summer. And he's continuously said this. So whether that comes through, PDK. I always knew you were there, PDK. But yeah, I think 8's not out the realms of possibility.
Yeah, I think 8 feels right. 8 definitely feels right, Pete, because you can't go in, can you? You can't go in with one left back in the new season, and that striker department is an issue. What I suppose the interesting one for me is we've not been linked to that many strikers this summer window. There's not really been that many big links. So whether or not it would be a youngster, but a bit like what you mentioned earlier, Pete, you would think it'd have to be someone who's tried and tested, someone who's going to come in and guarantee goals. But we haven't been linked with any of those, from what I've seen anyway. That's
the mistake that we made last summer. We didn't get. We got Nick Voldemort, and we know he's a talent. We know he's got capabilities, etc., but he doesn't fit our style of play. But we didn't go and just get somebody. I think Newcastle rue that. They had the chance to get. And look, people talk about Vlahovic. Vlahovic is on a free. Yes, your signing on fee might be a little bit expensive, and yes, it might be a 200 grand a week payout. But what you're getting is a player that knows how to put the ball in the back of the net, and we've felt the force of that last season. Not having someone that could put the ball in the back of the net just like that, and we know they're a hot commodity. Strikers you have to pay more for, because they hold the hardest job in football, is putting that ball in the back of the net. And I think we rue that. And I think it would be a huge risk with every little other thing we've done with our business to not get a striker in that knows how to put that ball in the back of the net. We've got talented players, but not players that you can hold your hat on, that can get that ball and stick it in the back of the net week in, week out. Vlahovic has done it at the highest level. You pay your money, he's on a free. Yes, you're paying a huge fee out in signing on, etc., but you've got someone that you can hold your hat on there. Balogun, I think he's hungry. He wants to prove himself in the big league, but he needs someone that's coming off the back of 19 goals last season and his World Champions League goals too. So you can hold your hat on him going, you know what? He's the guy that if the ball falls in the box, he's going to put it away. That's what we're lacking. We don't have that in the 3 strikers that we've got, all talented in different ways, but we haven't got that guy that we can hold our hat on to go, you know what? Yeah. There might not be an Isak, but you're not going to get an Isak. He's a unicorn. He's very unique. But you want someone that you can hold your hat on. So Jordi Tupac to put Nunes, throw him in the mix as well. You can hold your hat on him that he's going to put the ball in the back of the net if you give him the service. And there are strikers out there, Chris. You said we're not linked with many. Nunes we've been linked with. Balogun we've been linked with. Vlahovic we've been linked with. There's 3, and they've all got pedigree. They've all got pedigree and capabilities. There might not be an array of links there, but there's 3 very good strikers that are all available. Jackson,
he's very interesting.
He scores goals. He scores goals in the Premier League. It's very clear that he doesn't necessarily want to go back to Chelsea. So there could be an option. Some people are saying, like Jimmy Watt's saying, Esposito from Inter Milan. He's a young striker, but he's not one you can hold your hat on.
Yeah,
he's one that you'd want. Like he's almost like an Asula type, as you boys said, like a second choice. Like an Asula should be a second choice as one to bring on and hone and give opportunities here and there. He's not one you can hold your hat on. And that's what I see Esposito as. He's not one you can hold your hat on. There are others out there, and we should absolutely do so.
Definitely. Right, boys. And then the last question. Love Alt 10. I'm probably reading that wrong. Love Alphen. I'll go with Love Alphen. But thank you, Love Alphen. Yeah, Daz, how did we all get to know each other?
I don't know. We just clicked on a link and we just met each other. No, we got to know each other. We were on a previous channel. I worked on NUFC Matters. Then we were doing Matchday Lives together. When we started our own channel, we started with 5. We had Martin and Richie with us starting off, and there was 5 of us. And there was, we kicked on from there, and it's grown and grown and grown, the channel. So we don't get to meet each other face to face that often, because I live in Galway in Ireland, and Chris is in Liverpool, and Pete's in Leicester. But we do try to meet up get a game in at least once a season where possible, or maybe twice even. But yeah, that's it's a long story. They'll make a film of it someday, Chris. There'll probably be a rom-com of some sort.
There will be somewhere.
Play us? I don't know.
I don't know. But no, you'll have to get some suggestions in the chat. Who would play us in a rom-com? Get those. In fact, put it in the comments. And be nice. Be nice is what I'd say.
Shaquille O'Neal, or maybe Michael Air Jordan for Pete, obviously. Small height. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right, people, can we end the show? Can we end the show now? Because I think I need to have a conversation with these 2 boys in the back. I ain't happy about what's going on here. I ain't happy about this.
How did loaded ends will be the next question.
Yeah. What happened to losers? What happened? 5th of July. That's what happens. But yeah, before we go, boys, I just want to say thank you everybody for watching. Oh, sorry, Pete. I was just going to say thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the hype button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. 2,862 people watching right now. Thank you so much. Pete, go on, mate.
What is going on here? What is going on here? You're having a laugh.
The center for me as well.
You're the 2 for life. I like you.
I don't like you, Jordan 2 for life.
David Cook as well. David, I thought we were guys, man. What's going on?
Everyone's got
Clon lad. Come on, you're sticking with your Irish roots in. I know what you're doing here. I know what you're doing. Don't do this. Right. Are we ending this show or what? Because I'm not having these Danny DeVito.
End the show. End it now.
Kevin Hart.
At the same time.
I thought we were going to say, if you said it Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I'd have gone, take that. Take
Ryan Hall.
All right. That's it. We're definitely into the show.
Can we finish on one thing? One thing of positivity. Not the fact that I'm the CEO of the 6 Foot Club. Not that. But the positivity is, look, the man is here. We were worried about it. We were concerned. There was worry that it'd been delayed, etc., etc. But Bazoumana Touré is black and white. And I just wanted to end it on this here. Look at that. Signing his contract. Look how happy he is to be a black and white. Look how happy he is to be part of the Geordie family. And look how happy he is, Ross Wilson, because he knows it's a Ross Wilson song.
It's a Ross Wilson summer. See you in the next one, everyone. Have a good evening. Mexican night, I think.
Mama always told me, Papa always warned me, don't hang around with boys like you. Teacher always told me never to be naughty, don't